Hello and welcome to the Life in Loops YouTube channel. My name is Kirsty. I am the designer and dyer of all things Life in Loops, except for our crochet hooks, who are made by my husband Paul. And gee whiz, some of you have found them. Wow, he's struggling to keep up with you. But it's good. It's all good. Why? But I'll tell you when we get to the life stuff at the end. I have been working really hard for the last fortnight, trying to get some objects finished, trying to work through some of my stash yarn. I've just, been working really hard. My hands are, they're always on the go. So, but I love it and I'm really, really enjoying it. So I have a pile of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finished objects to show you. 6 or 7 works in progress. I've also got some acquisitions. So I've got some new yarn that's arrived. Also got all our stats, or my stats, for July. So I've just made myself a coffee. Go and grab yourself a coffee or a cold drink or whatever the case is, whatever you might like. Sit in, pick up a project that you're working on. Let's have a chat about some of these bits and pieces that I have put together. Okay, first thing first. Showed you the last couple of episodes a top that I was working on. So it's a 2-panel top. I have finished it, sort of. I haven't woven in all the ends yet, but I have, in theory it is finished. I sat and I wove the ends in for about an hour on a Sunday night, and I'm like, this is not bringing me any joy. You can just sit on the kitchen table and wait until I'm ready to weave in the ends, which will probably, if I know me and I know what my past me has done, that will probably happen in the car on the way to the Queensland Yarn Show because I want to wear it the next day. But yeah, it was just a 2-panel kind of thing. And then it is sewn up the sides to create the arm and the other arm. And I really like it. I like the shape of it when it's on. Yeah, I love the colors. So it's probably a little, in hindsight, I probably would have added maybe like another inch to the length, but it's probably one that I would wear with a pair of denim shorts or, a skirt or something like that. It's probably not something, well, I don't know. I would still wear a singlet underneath it. It is very, it's probably not as noticeable, with the 2 or 3 layers, but there is quite some gaps and bits and pieces there. I'm not one to show off not too much skin. I don't mean it like that, but there's lumps and bumps that people don't want to see, and I get that. So I would still wear a singlet top underneath this. Yeah, I used just over 500 grams of yarn, or closer to 6. So it was 100 grams of each of the colors. And then I had to start a new ball of every color to get it finished. But it was literally a case of, I think it was like this row here of the pink. I think it was like 1 row of the purple. So it was only like 1 or 2 rows that I actually had to use the color for. So those scraps are in my scrap bucket. I have a plan for them. I've actually started making said plan, but yeah, so I will use the leftovers. I'm not overly worried about that. So it turned out really, really pretty. I'm super happy with it. I don't know. I've kind of been talking to a couple of people about how to grade it to other sizes, whether it's something we can do, whether it's something I want to do. I don't know. Maybe it could be the first one we try to grade, and I would just need to get some help from my testers to check out sizing and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, we'll see. It's not a right now going to happen, but it might happen. I don't know. What else have I finished? So a couple of festivals ago, I was actually talking to a lady at Craft Alive who said to me, have you ever knit up samples or crocheted up samples of the colours of your yarn? And I'm like, well, no, I haven't, because predominantly our yarns are speckled and not so much variegated stuff, but I have started doing a little bit of variegated stuff. So I thought those ones probably deserve to have, I can't think of the words I'm looking for. I need to work them up so people can see what they look like. Let's just run with that. So I did knit up, this colorway is called Avocado on Toast. And I called it that because we have the yellow, which I call Butter, is one of our normal colors. It has Sage, which is a baby avocado color. And then it has this cinnamon. So it's like, I kind of thought it looked like a piece of toast. So that's how I got the name Avocado on Toast. It worked up really, really soft. I was really surprised. I think I used a 4.5 millimeter needle to create the squares. And yeah, so I've done that one. In my wisdom, I also thought I probably need to crochet up a piece just to, you know, be able to show it knitted and crocheted. I finished the knitted one. I picked up my crochet hook and I started crocheting what I was planning on being another dishcloth style thing. I was tired. It was actually really late. I think it was like about 1 o'clock in the morning or something that I woke up and started doing it. And in my wisdom, I went, okay, I'll just follow the same theory of the knitted one where I just increased every row, blah, blah, blah. No. You know what happens when you do that when you crochet? You end up with a diamond. You end up with a diamond, not a square. Look, it's fine. It shows how the colours work together when it's crocheted. It shows how the colours work together while it's knit. And that was the, you know, the theory behind me doing it. So we'll take these samples to, you know, yarn shows and stuff like that so people can see how those colours work up. Then when they're, you know, once I retire the colours or whatever we, you know, whatever, then they can become, you know, face washes or makeup brush cleaners or, you know, whatever. They will be used. Until then, they will be travelling around the country showing you how they work up. But I did have a giggle at myself creating a diamond instead of a square. And I'm like, this is why we don't wake up at 3 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning and just pick up a crochet hook and think that we're smart enough to crochet at 1 o'clock in the morning. We're not. So another finished object, I finished off my first scrappy shawl. I quite like this. I don't know that I will keep it for myself. I said last episode that I'll probably donate it out for my mum and dad to give away with one of their raffles or something. So this used up around about 317 grams out of my 4-ply stash. I quite like it. I probably, in hindsight, I probably wouldn't put the green on the bottom again, but it's finished. So, you know, it worked up really pretty. I just double-stranded colour scraps with white. So it kind of gave it a, I mean, you can really see, but like it kind of gave it a melted, that's not the right word, but it kind of blended the two colours in together. The white kind of made it a little bit pale. Muted, that's the word I'm looking for, muted palette. So I have rolled up my next ball to start the next one, and I'm trying to use up all my greens. So I have a whole heap of green scraps. I've double-stranded them with a colour, it's called Silver. It's a colour I've never ever released. I was trying to get a really bright silver to do our 3rd season Bridgerton box, but I have failed dramatically trying to get this silver colour. So I'm using 3 of those skeins with whatever green that I can pull out of my scrap bucket, and it will, yeah, hopefully it'll either become another shawl. Maybe I might even do a, you know, just a granny square blanket. I don't know. I haven't started it yet. So, but the yarn is wound and ready to go. So that's that finished object. I have also, I'm actually quite surprised. I didn't think that I would be bringing you a set of socks every episode. And yeah, really didn't, because I'm not fast. But my pace has picked up, which is really, really good. So I have finished one more pair of socks, which were my all dolled up socks. This one was from Skeen Sisters. I really like how, so I only worked out of the middle of the ball for both pairs of socks. Um, the first sock, it's quite funny, and it's just the way yarn works, right? But I did find it quite funny, strange, but not eye-opening strange. So the first sock, the colour's really scattered, which is fine. It's beautiful. It's absolutely lovely. I love it. On the second sock, I started getting a little bit of pooling, like where the pink would pool. And I'm like, I got no pooling on this sock, but this sock I've got pooling. But anyway, it doesn't matter. They're beautiful, and it's actually that ball of yarn that was this is why I want to learn how to knit, because I just thought they would make beautiful socks, and they did. So the orange was from Hodgepodge Yarns. It was just out of a mini bowl. It was a goldfish bowl full of minis. I think I'm going to see her at, I'd say Fiberfest in Wyong, and I'll be attacking that mini bowl again. Don't you worry. And then the all dolled up is one from Skeen Sisters. I actually had a look yesterday. I was going to order some more to potentially make a shawl for myself, but it was on their pre-order stuff. So I like to just get it while it's out, not pre-order. Anyway, I like instant gratification. One other thing, a couple of other things that I finished. I've actually finished heaps, right? So I had a little bit of that avocado on toast left over, and I thought I would make myself a soft, scrappy basket of sorts. So I used a 6mm hook, and it's the avocado on toast with white. I still had a little bit more left after doing the first one, so I decided I was going to make a large scrappy basket. I probably could add a little bit more height to this one, maybe, I don't know. And so obviously I run out of the avocado on toast, but I had some butter in my scrap stash. So I did the avocado on toast and come up with the butter. And then I was like, there's a little one, there's a big one. I think we need one in between, so the middle bear. So then I used the butter, and I run out of white, and then so I grabbed one of the greens that I had that was in my stash and double stranded the butter and the green. It's probably not my favorite out of the three of them, but it does the job. So I have written up the pattern for the first one, and that will go into testing in the next couple of, I was going to say months, but weeks. We'll see, because the girls are still working on the blanket. In fact, I'm still working on the blanket. So it'll go into testing this year. Let's go that way. To do those little baskets. But yeah, I really like the little stacky baskets. They are just soft, soft baskets. I've actually asked Paul to cut me out some plywood bases that I can crochet up the side of those and see how we like. And then I also thought I might try with the soft ones. I have started another set, but I thought I might try and use, is it Mod Podge? I think is like the gluey stuff that you can paint on things. So I bought it, so I'm going to try and paint that on the sides, because it's like clear. So I thought we'll see whether that kind of stiffens up the outside a little bit. Alternate to that, obviously, I've used a 6mm crochet hook. I could go down to a 5 or a 4 even, just to tighten it up a little bit more. I'll see. I'll keep playing with them and then show you guys what does what, and you can decide how you want to make yours. The last thing I finished, so I showed you the little dilly bag last episode. I have made another dilly bag. So I've written up the pattern. So it will go into testing again this year sometime. But yeah, it's really cute. So I actually had some of that mixed berry left over from my top. So I used that mixed berry to make this one, and then I just used the raspberry to make the thing. I thought we'd make it dingle dangle and put some bells on the end of it. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking, probably to antagonize the cat. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, yeah, so that's written up, ready to go into testing. The first one I made, which I thought I brought in with me, but I mustn't have, actually had a handle on it. This one I didn't put a handle on. So maybe I'll write it up again, like write up another version with the handle on it. We'll see. Okay, what does this one contain? Again, a couple of episodes ago, I showed you a skein from Hodgepodge that was like green and brown and yellow, and I had a jade green mini to go with it. That one is almost a sock. Our first sock is almost done. So it was called, the label's in the other room. I'm pretty sure it was called Star Build Kingfisher. Oh, gee whiz. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. Funnily enough, I really like this. It's not working up the way I pictured it would in my head, but I still like it. I still like it. I actually think I'm going to gift these ones to my mum. Actually, my mum and dad both watch lots of sport and, you know, are great barrackers for Australia. And I just think the greens and the golds and stuff in that one just suit her personality. So we'll see. I think I might give those ones to mum. So I'm on the gusset decreases for that one, and I'll probably use this color again, like the darker color for the toe, I would imagine. So that one's on the go. I have finished, let's see, another shorty sock, but it's only one at this stage, so I've got to do the second one yet. So it's just a, so this yarn was a gradient set that I got from Ash and Eve when they did their breast cancer fundraising last year. So I've just used Summer Lee's sock, it's a shorty sock pattern, but she does show you how she fades the colors, so it's not so, I've just gone from dark pink to this pink to this pink to this pink. So it's how she kind of blends the colors in together. I'm really happy with this sock. In fact, I can see lots more shorty socks in my future. Yeah, I really, really like it. Yeah, and it's really comfortable as well. So with that in mind, once I knit the other one of this, I think I'm going to go back and try my crocheted socks again, my pattern. I think the problem that I had with them was I was trying to make the leg too long. It was too loose. But I think as a shorty pattern, that would work an absolute treat. So I'm going to, well, these I think I only used about 20 grams of yarn in this whole sock. So I'll probably be able to do another pair in this colorway, which I might crochet toe up. So I kind of, yeah, anyway, but that's kind of my plan at this minute. We all know things can change. They all change, right? But yeah, I really like the way that the fade has worked. It's beautiful yarn. So much so I have signed up for Ash and Eve's, I think it's a moon collection. So they're just doing like for 3 months, but I've signed up for the minis. So I can do some more of these fadey kind of numbers because I really like it. What else have I bought in to show? Got another pair of socks. This one's for my sister-in-law. I think I showed you this yarn once before, Sorcery. So we've just got to just on the heel on that one. So we're on the decrease. I seem to get all my socks to the same spot. and then I kind of do all the gusset decreases, and then I, can fly on the feet. And yeah, so, but this one's really nice. That Sorcery colorway that I picked up from Skein Sisters. It's beautiful. I have started, oh, another pair down here. I decided I wanted to try myself some color work, which is why I bought the navy and red yarn from Nundle Woolen Mill last fortnight. So I'm doing myself a colorwork sock. Well, it doesn't look great on that side because that. No, Siri, you don't listen. This is Crazy Sock Lady's Cottage Hearts pattern. I've taken a little bit of liberty. I've put a stripe in the cuff, I've put a stripe in the leg, and then another one on the just after the gusset decreases. Now I'm just going to put a set of red hearts on the foot, and then maybe a white toe. This one is not far away from being done. I actually really enjoyed this one. I have really enjoyed this one. So much so, I am looking at other colorworks. I did buy some, I'll show you in a little bit, but I bought some more single colors from the Nundle Woolen Mill, thinking about smiley faces and roses and all the things, but I would like to be able to put them onto crocheted socks, knitted socks, bags, whatever we want to put it on. I think, yeah, so, but I did buy some more. So that is my first colorwork sock. I'm reasonably happy with it, as far as the fit and the feel and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll just see where it ends up, but just another work in progress. One more I have started. So obviously you've seen the 8-ply top. I have started the 4-ply version. This one I've had to work a little bit differently, right? Because I don't even know that I've zipped it up the front enough yet. I don't, maybe by the time it goes, yeah, maybe. But so I'm doing the same pattern in a 4-ply version, and I'm using our Roses Are Red yarn cake. I don't know how much of a top I'm going to get out of one yarn cake, but I will report back. But it's so soft. But yes, so I had to start this one. I did like the chain of one side, and then the double crochets into the chain. Then I did the chain of the other side, the double crochets in the chain, and now I'm just kind of alternating side by side, or side to side, so that the gradient is the same on both sides, because it would drive me absolutely bonkers if I worked all the way out and then couldn't do the same symmetry the other way. Would drive me nuts. Anyway, yeah, so it's kind of a work in progress. I think I only started that Wednesday night. So we've got a little bit done. What else have I started? I've started so much. Look, most of these socks have been going a little while, so they're not necessarily started projects. I think the only project I've started in the last fortnight was the baskets, which are also finished, the red top, and I've just got into the hype of the Musselburgh hat, which is like a double sided beanie. This is where we're up to. We're not very deep into it. I think I've only done, I don't know, maybe half a dozen of the increased rows. So yeah, it's not going to be a quick project by any means. So you may not see this again for some time. I'm not going to show you every fortnight if it just kind of adds a little bit. I did get a new set of needles that arrived today from Skein Sisters, which are 2.5mm needles, but they're 40cm cable. So that will help me bring it out. Obviously, it was starting to get a lot bunched up on my little, itty bitty needles. So the yarn I'm using for this is from VK Yarns. So it's one of Michaela's dyes. I know it's cheesecake. I don't know whether it's raspberry cheesecake or cheesecake bites. I know it's cheesecake, but I just can't remember the proper name of it, but I'll link it into the show notes so you can grab it because it is beautiful. And it kind of does look like raspberry cheesecake, right? So I'll link it into the show notes so you can have a look. Had a few acquisitions arrive and I've got more on the way. Okay, so this one arrived today from Skein Sisters. It is called Fairgrounds. It is going to be beautiful. I actually think I've got another one in the room that is similar, that's like a light, like it's got like the pinks and stuff in it. So I'm actually thinking I might turn it into a shawl because it's so soft. It would be beautiful and warm. And this one, I don't know who's going to get this one. It is called Stained Glass. I don't know if that is a Paul pair of socks or if that is a Kirsty pair of socks or if it is a dad pair of socks. I'm not sure, but I really like it. We'll see how it works when I work it up and decide then who's going to be the lucky owner of this sock. I think it's going to be beautiful. The other thing I bought from Skein Sisters today, or didn't buy it today, but arrived today, is a sock set, and it is Unique Sock Kit by Earth. I think it's URTH, Earth Yarns. And so it's a self-striping yarn. I have not worked with a self-striping yarn before in a sock capacity. Obviously, I've only just started knitting socks. So when I seen it, I was like, I need to give this a go. They did work their socks in the picture toe up from the outside of the ball. So I figure I only know how to do cuff down at the minute. So I figure if I work from the center of the ball, it's going to get me a similar kind of look on the picture, is my theory. Anyway, but I can't wait, actually. I can't wait to cast those on, so much so that once I finish filming this and I start doing the editing, that is what I will be working on. I got a couple new sets of needles turn up. So as I say, I got the 40 centimeter Chigu red lace for my Musselborough hat. I also got, Paul bought me a set of Zing interchangeables at Christmas time. I didn't have a 3.75, so I've just got the heads because I've got all the cords and bits and pieces. I'll link up in here. So I'm going to cast on, I don't know when I'm going to cast it on, whether that might be this weekend or I don't know. And is a top called the Mixed Tape. And it uses scrap of 4-ply yarn. Each row takes, I'll put a picture up in here. Each row takes around about 3 grams of yarn. So yeah, I'm really excited to start that, but it calls for a 3.75. In my head, I'm like, I could make that in cotton. I have seen some feedback on, I think it might have been just their Facebook group or Facebook page saying that it doesn't work well in cotton because of the way it's constructed. So maybe it's one that I'm just going to have to use my leftovers from my sock yarn. Like as I finish a pair of socks that I can add that in. Maybe, I'm not sure. I will do a little bit more research before I cast it on though. Because cotton I can do, cotton I will wear. But, you know, maybe I do a woolen one and just take 3 grams off my sock yarn if I haven't started making socks out of it yet. Maybe that's an idea. And I also had some more yarn turn up last night. So just a few more standard colours from the Nundle Woolen Mill. So I got a black and a yellow because I was thinking about bumblebees or smiley faces on socks. Not sure yet, but that's kind of where my brain was going with those. And also a pink. This one's called French Rose, and an olive green. So I'm starting to get a few solid colors together now, so I can do some more color work and yeah, have a bit of a play within my own patterns and other designers' patterns and stuff like that. So we'll see. I've got no definitive plans right now. So this is, and I don't think I said this at the beginning, but this is our 5th episode that I am going to be uploading to YouTube. So I'm going to do our first giveaway. Stick around and I'll let you know. But I thought I would give you my July stats, how I said I've been keeping track of how much yarn I use, how much I buy, so how much is coming into my stash, how much I dye, and how much I roll. I was actually quite surprised. So I've just put it all into a spreadsheet, but I haven't done the calculations until today. So I have dyed 10.3 kilos of 4-ply yarn and 8.5 kilos of 8-ply yarn. So just over, so was that 18.8 kilos of yarn that I dyed in July. I have rolled 13 kilos of 4-ply cotton. 13 kilos. I have rolled 6.6 kilos of 8-ply cotton. So that's a total of 19.6 kilos that I rolled. Now, I'll tell you, I do have an electric yarn winder. Most of that yarn that has been rolled in the last July were for our orange ombre boxes, our blue ombre boxes, our red yarn cakes. So, stuff like that. Some orders. So we had some people, I will roll our orders if I'm asked to. I have no problem doing that. So some of it might have been from orders. So yeah, about 19.6 kilos of yarn I rolled. I have used 1,928 grams of yarn. I have knit and crocheted just over 5 kilometers of yarn in July. I added 2,170 grams into my stash in July and only took out 928. So keep in mind that I'm not worried about that yet. I'm not worried about it at all, really. It's just, information. So as I'm starting a project, I'm buying my cotton. So if it's not a scrap project, then I have to buy my cotton. I don't have I don't keep a stash of cotton just for me. So, I bought this yarn cake, which is 250 grams, which, I have only started using in July. So, in August. So, it will balance itself out by the end of the year. I have no doubt. There's only 260 odd grams in between. So, I don't think that's that really. That's that. So I am not fussed by that at all. I spent $404 on yarn in July. Anyway, what Paul doesn't know doesn't hurt him, right? Lucky I do the budget. He'll know tomorrow morning because he'll sit and watch this episode before I'm allowed to press play. So he'll know. If I don't get to press play, you know why. So I completed 1 blanket, 2 lanyards. Now I might even upload that pattern today. I might do that. So we make portable yarn spinners. You can buy them where, I think I have shown them before, but it's basically a circle and a thing where I go in the car and play passenger princess. We've bought some lanyards that we can send with them, or if you want to make your own, I have designed a moss stitch lanyard. It's not rocket science. I might try and put that up onto the website this afternoon. I finished 1 garment, which was my jumper. I didn't finish the top until August. So I finished 1 pair of socks, 1 shawl, the 2 dishcloths, project bag, and then the set of stacking baskets. So I finished 10 projects in July. So they're not all big projects, right? So not by a long shot. But I've worked through a fair bit in July. Paul actually travelled away for work for a few nights, and I shouldn't say I'm uncomfortable with being at home on my own. I don't particularly like it, like of a night time. I'm just more comfortable knowing he's here. So when he's not here, I stayed up really late for me. So there was a couple of nights I stayed up until I think it was like 11 the first 2 nights. The third night I actually fell asleep in the lounge and woke up multiple times and continued to knit at God unearthly hours of the morning. I then about 3 o'clock, I thought, oh, you know, I've got to go to bed because I've been up, you know, in and out, awake and asleep all night. Got to go to bed. So I went to bed at 3 o'clock. The alarm went off at 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh, Lordy. And then I went and had a look at my knitting from the night before. And needless to say, I had to restart it all over again. I was purling in places where there shouldn't have been pearls, and I was knitting in places there shouldn't have been knits. So yes, it was quite amusing. I should have kept it to show you. Yes, so I think that's all I've got to show you. Just the normal reading, watching, life stuff. So I'm still reading the same book. We just finished watching another of the, what's his name? Harlan Coben, is that his name? I think is the writer. Another TV show on Netflix. I think it was called Stay. It was really good. I'm assuming he is from the UK because a lot of his early Netflix shows are all in the UK. So yeah, we'll probably, I think we started watching the third or eighth, another one of them last night. And again is in the UK. The thing I'm really struggling with this one is that the policeman out of the last one is now the victim of sorts in the new one. And so it's like, your voice doesn't, because I don't necessarily watch a lot of it, I listen to it. His voice is, I'm getting a bit confused with the voice, really. But anyway, that's about it. No, let's do our first giveaway. I'm really excited about this. So at this stage, I'm planning to do a giveaway probably every 5 episodes. So 5, 10, 15, 20. We'll see. We'll see how we go. We'll see how many more people find us in that time period. So share, hype, like, subscribe, all the things. So I want a comment below. So you can have your choice of either one of our patterns, a digital copy of one of our patterns, or free postage on whatever. So we will either refund you postage or credit you postage in our store. So you can, if you go, I just want to try one skein or one hook or one something, but I don't want to pay for postage, we will cover that for one person. Or you can choose one of my patterns and I will send you that for free. So leave me a comment below whether you would take a pattern or postage, what you would prefer. And I will next episode use, I think there's a comment app somewhere that will take a comment and randomly give somebody whatever they like. Yeah, we might do it every episode. We might do it every other. I don't know. I have no real plans, but I kind of thought today's number 5. Good time to throw it out there, put it up for offer. Yeah. All right. I have shown you a lot, right? And I've talked through a lot. So if you have any questions, let me know. I will link all my Ravelry project pages into the show notes. So if there's anything that you want to go, well, how did you do it, or what did you use, what was the name of the yarn again, what was the store, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, any questions, reach out. You can always find me on socials. We're Life in Loops on Instagram. I think we're Life in Loops _AU on Facebook. Or you can come and join us in the Loopy Lair on Facebook. So it's only a small group of around about 55, 60 people. And that way you get direct access to both myself and Paul. So if you had any questions about hooks or yarn or anything, you know, we've got direct access. I've shown you so much. I can't believe how much work I've got through in the last fortnight. I'm really excited. I need to go and get some more done though. All right, be kind to each other, and I will talk to you again real soon.